Welcome into Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Caratino at Diablo00 on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter, where you can see the show. Also on the IG, yes, IG Live, Michael.Caratinudo.5. And Pitchfork Lunchers, you know it. I'll remind you throughout the show on YouTube. You can subscribe to the good old YouTube channel. And when you go to YouTube, you can subscribe. It's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005 at MVC005 on YouTube. Subscribe. Yep, look at that. Giving a shout out to the good old 1885 establishment. Yeah, you know it. That's right. Big ups, big shout out to Sun Devil Hockey going out to practice yesterday, Mullet Arena, where they play their games, obviously, and they have their practice in their own wonderful on-campus facility. It's just great, that little that area right there in Tempe. Side note, real quick, but in Tempe, obviously, in you have Sun Devil Stadium, and then you have like Desert Financial, you know, in that same parking lot. I mean, it's a parking lot, but well, Mountain America Stadium, but Sun Devil Stadium, Desert Financial Arena will be tonight, and then you have Mullet Arena, And then back in the day, yes, the baseball Packard Stadium was there, but you have track and tennis right there too. So again, just an awesome little and the practice fields right across the street. So just an awesome little setup there. But tonight, the big game, y'all. Yes, UCLA here for the last time as a Pac-12 foe. And I know a lot of you are saying, maybe not a lot of you Sun Devil fans, but other detractors are saying, are you going to keep reminding us and keep saying that it's the last time as a Pac-12 team? Well, for those of you that follow me on X when it was Twitter, and I had my pinned tweet of, are you kidding me with USC and UCLA? Yes, that started the ruining. Well, that I would say it accelerated the ruining. It took it in the direction of ruining the Pac-12. But yes, it's all about the green dollar, and it's all about the money. But yes, just for big sports, because when we make these moves, Olympic sports are going to end up, just taking more actually from whatever the quote unquote bigger sports do because of travel and all that good stuff. But hey, at a conference game is one thing. Conference games, like I said, going from LA to Piscataway, New Jersey to play a conference game at Rutgers, or Happy Valley going to Penn State, or going up to Maryland. Yeah, awesome. I mean, I guess Nebraska wouldn't be that bad, but whatever. Nonetheless, hoops game tonight. So I digress to that. UCLA, the Bruins are here, and look, the Devils are 4-1, as we know, in conference play, but looking to go to 8-0 at home. This team has not lost a home game. Yes, at a conference was a little rough, but they avenged a loss against San Francisco. They beat SMU. Pardon me. They beat SMU. So, look, I mean, the aspects of this game, and I touched on it a teeny bit yesterday, but, I mean, to expand on it, look, you are up top right now in the conference standing, second, right behind Oregon. Oregon is 5-0, the last team that has not dropped a game yet. Oregon's 5-0, and they they're 5-0. The Devils are 4-1. The Wildcats have dropped 2 games now, one to Stanford and one to Washington State. Again, not that they're not competitive, and Coach Hurley says it, and I told you earlier, it wasn't just Coach speak. You're not going to go through this conference. This is a 9th season, and we'll hear from Coach Hurley, and he talked about that, but you're not going to go through, conference play with there we go. We'll go straight up. No, I'm just kidding. You're not going to go through conference play, though, without – yes, some speed bumps, it being completely tough. Like, I mean, Arizona, the way they were playing, would you have them at having already dropped 2 conference games? Probably not. Now, as maybe the second time around seeing teams, okay, because going, can go the other way. But for the Devils, this is huge. Yes, they have a chance to go 5-1 now in conference play, and then they take on USC at noon. And you'll hear from Coach Hurley made a little bit of a joke about that on Saturday. But yeah, Oregon. I mean, they play. They're playing the Mountain School, so they have Colorado first. And then Utah. Colorado first, then Utah. But Arizona also playing SC tonight down in Tucson. But yeah, you look, like I said, conference standings right now. Oregon 5-0. The Devils 4-1. Stanford's at 4-2. Arizona's at 3-2. Then you have Colorado, Utah, and Washington State at 3-3. Washington, USC, and their LA mates, UCLA, both at 2-4, or all at 2-4. Oh, along with Cal. So Washington, USC, UCLA, and Cal are all 2-4 in conference play. I spit that out straight. There you go. And then Oregon State's 1-4. But for ASU, look at that, 4-1, 10-6 overall. And UCLA, I mean, they're 2-4. Like I said, they're 7-10 overall, but they just had a nice win against Washington, who previously to losing to UCLA turned around and beat ASU. So, like, it's just how it is. And, but yeah, I mean, this is huge for the Devils as they go forward. And when we look at, UCLA, again, they have some length on this team. There's some talent. I'll get into that. Obviously some talent, but they do have length on this team. And, yeah, since they do have length on this team and the talent, it's one of those things where, yeah, you see their record, but you aren't going to roll the ball out. And people can say, well, yes, obviously, Michael, ASU, what you've talked about and what coaches talked about when we've heard about, the kind of looking in the mirror over Christmas break and that little time off and, to get away and come back and, start out 4-0 and then, 4-1 though in conference play. And, it's you're not in a position to overlook somebody, but come on, we all know at times people have done it. But I will say this, the way this team's coming around, the leadership, I mean, that we get from a Jamiya Neal, that you get from, I've mentioned, a Frankie Collins, that have been here, that have, been with Coach Hurley. And they know that, yes, they need to dig in defensively, but getting a Sean Phillips Jr. back and, Brian Salabonga, I talked about him. Like, this team you have the pieces to where you can charge forward and stay up top in the Pac-12. Getting a win against UCLA tonight will go, I'm not even going to say a small way, a long way in that. Just because then you move up to 5-1, 8-0 at home, and teams coming in here realize that, oh, wow, we just can't overlook this team. But the one thing I know is if I'm Coach Hurley and that team, is that you're going to play defense and, I mean, crowd, get behind them. Let's go. Let's get out there. It's a team that, yes, I mean, going in, you figure, okay, but I mean, come on, student, the 942 crew, they'll be out in full effect. So that is one way. One advantage, I guess you can say, and again, the wall of distraction, man, throughout the years, it does not let down. It's not. There's some good ones. I mean, the most classic one I can remember is with Michael Phelps when he came out in his Speedo and all his medals, Olympic medals. That was awesome. I mean, there's been some very awesome classic ones up there, but the 942 crew, if you haven't been out to DFA for a game, well, come on, shame on you. But I just saw an interesting tweet. Well, it's from the account Carlos, a Pac-12 mourner. I'm with you on that, Carlos. He put up Says, got a really bad feeling and it's just perfect timing, right? But so they got a really bad feeling one of Jamiya Neal or Frankie Collins is going for 30 tonight. Yeah, Carlos, Pitchfork Lunch. I support you on that. The Pitchfork Lunch Mojo. I support you on that. So, but like I'm talking about the leadership. I mean, Frankie Collins, like I said, the way he stepped up, Jamiya Neal just settling in, the jumpers hitting, not forcing your game. And that's, with basketball, I always hear coaches say, like multiple players, oh, they need to shoot the ball. Well, there's one ball to go around, but that's the whole point. Get somebody in rhythm, the ball moving, the harmony of offense, right? The harmony of offense. Yeah, that's one of those things where when I look at it, if it is it extremely possible that Collins and or Neal goes off for 30? Hell yes, it is. So yeah, and just again, get to the rim, free throw shooting. Let's focus on that. That is very, very, very huge. Sports wise, though, on the men's side, wrestling. Got to reach out to Coach Jones, man. They are actually headed out of town. Is the Sun Devil wrestling team as they I think they're headed to Little Rock, headed to Arkansas. I want to say that's where they're headed. Yes, they are headed to Little Rock, Arkansas, as they just took out CSU Bakersfield last. If you have missed any of wrestling, they started November 11th on Veterans Day. They actually beat Lock Haven University 23-18, then lost to North Carolina at Ragle Mania 22-16 in the Journeyman Classic. That was, but still part of the Felton, Missouri 39-6. The Ken Craft Midlands Championships. Remember, I mentioned that Teamer won a title and joined a list of esteemed, just phenomenal ASU wrestlers that have actually won a title there. That's at Northwestern in Evanston, Illinois. So, but then on January 5th, after the new year, they fell to Iowa State 28-10. And then turned around, like I said, on the 7th and took on Cal State Bakersfield, and they beat them on the road 43-0. Now they head off to Little Rock to take on Little Rock, and that is today. And then Sunday, they take on Pittsburgh. So they go from Little Rock, the match Friday, head over to Pittsburgh and take on Pitt on Sunday at noon. That's going to be on the ACC network. So just a heads up there. But yeah, I mean, this team, like I said, there is talent there for Coach Jones, who's an alum. And again, if you haven't been out to wrestling, you will have a chance to get out there. Let's see, their next home match. Oh, they take on Oregon State Sunday, February 4th, after going to Oklahoma State. So Sunday, February 4th, 1 p.m., Desert Financial Arena. Yes, go check out the wrestling team then. That is the next time that they are home. And then they have home matches against Stanford and Lehigh. later in September, 17th and 24th. And also Nebraska will be in town on February 25th on Sunday. So very, very awesome to say the least. And then the Pac-12 championships this year, the last one of the Pac-12 championships will be up at Oregon State in Corvallis. That is March 10th. Oh, the birthday of one Charlie Turner Thorne. See, look at that. But yes, that will be the next time to check out wrestling and see how they are doing. But again, it's a 2-3 right now, but this is a team with good amount of talent. That's all I'm going to say. Very, very good amount of talent for the Sun Devils. So, hey, I'm going to step aside real quick. We'll get into more sports, obviously men's tennis and women's tennis getting going, obviously golf. But on the other side, we will we'll talk hoops more in the matchup between the Devils and the Sun Devils and the Bruins tonight, not tomorrow night. Usually it's Thursday, but not tomorrow night. Tonight at Desert Financial Arena, 7 p.m. as the Bruins take on as the Bruins come to Tempe to battle the Devils. So step aside. We'll hear from Coach Hurley, also hear from Jamiya Neal. And again, more to come. Men's tennis too, as well. Like I said, hockey as well coming up this weekend. We're at hockey again. Big shout out Sun Devil hockey yesterday. Getting to catch up with Ryan O'Reilly again. If you missed it, you know you can subscribe to the YouTube channel and go check it out. So I'll step aside. We'll talk hoops on the other side here on Pitchfork Lunch. All right, welcome back to Pitchfork Lunch. I am Michael Caratino at Diablo00 on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter, where you can check out the show every day, Monday through Friday, 12 to 1, as we roll on here in Sun Devil Nation, and you will know what is going on. But yes, 12 to 1, Monday through Friday. Hit me up. You got any comments? Again, drop some comments here in the show as you see it. And yeah. But you can see it here on the X, ours on Twitter, IG, my Instagram, Michael.Caratino.5, and then YouTube. Guys, subscribe to the YouTube channel. You missed an awesome, fun interview yesterday with Ryan O'Reilly, one of the forwards for the Sun Devil hockey team, who is, again, just doing phenomenal this season. And again, not being in a conference, trying to make a push for the postseason. Look, they got to keep winning. If they can keep winning, and they got a few wins on their resume that tough to keep them out, but you got to take care of business. Coach speak, player speak, whatever. It is one game at a time. We can speculate going forward if they win. But, yeah, man, get out there, support Sun Devil hockey. But if you missed the interview with Ryan O'Reilly, again, go to the YouTube channel. It's at Emmons and Michael V's and Victory C's and Cat 005 at MVC005 on YouTube and subscribe. All right, let's get into it. Let's get into the hoops. The Bruins are coming to town, and yeah, this Out of conference been a little tough for him. Not gonna sugarcoat that, as it was for the Devils as well. But the Devils getting off to a little bit of a faster start. Getting off to a little bit of a faster start, to overstate the obvious, 4-1 in conference play, mind you not, and looking to rebound. They've built up a little bit of stock here, a little small momentum in the beginning of play. And for Coach Hurley, it's huge. Mick Cronin, I mean, he's done a phenomenal job at UCLA. We've seen UCLA through, obviously, out the years under his leadership. They are a good team. They're physical. They have a lengthy team this year. That I will say. And the one thing that you can expect from UCLA, I mean, look, this is a team that fell 71-69 to Marquette in out of conference in one of their bigger out of conference games. They literally fell short against Gonzaga, 69-65. UC Riverside, they beat by 1. Villanova beat them 65-56. Ohio State beat them 67-60. I mean, they fell to Cal State Northridge 76-72. Then Maryland, they fell to Maryland 69-60. Then they went into Pac-12 play. They beat Oregon State, lost to Oregon, lost to Stanford, lost to Cal, got just mollywalked. I talked about that by Utah 90-44, but then they turn around and beat Washington 73-61, right? So that's just one of those things where when you look at it, it's like, oh, okay. Like UCLA woke up a little bit. We can, say, oh, that's kind of shocking. But again, they tend to wake up. It tends to happen. And, they have, again, like I said, a very, very solid team. But that being said, and we'll get into a little more, but we are going to hear from Coach Hurley right now. Got to catch up with him yesterday, and he, I mean, again, it's a big matchup, and we'll also hear from Jamiya Neal. But for Coach Hurley, like I said, this is again battling UCLA. It's huge, and it's going to be a great matchup. And I mean, he talks about obviously state of the team, where they're at and all that. But just focusing on this matchup and what UCLA means, and, just his thought of, I mean, it is UCLA still. and he touches on that being a national brand and just knowing, what UCLA is. So without further ado, here is Sun Devil men's head coach Bobby Hurley.
It's a big week, particularly where we are right now in the standings, and what it means to try and win home games. And it's two really good programs. Two programs had obviously a ton of success as of late. Going to the NCAA tournament, advancing in the NCAA tournament. To UCLA is such a storied program. It's the last time that they'll be here, in a Pac-12 game. So we're just hoping that people are paying attention, our fan bases, to how we've been playing the last few weeks and where we stand right now, and how important it is to show out tomorrow and come to the game.
Coach, is it kind of humbling after starting us so hot in Pac-12 play, taking a loss to Washington like that?
I wouldn't use the word humbling. I mean, there have been other times that word might be a little more applicable this season than the Washington loss. I thought it was very much a dead even game. If you remove about 3 minutes from about the 10.5 minute mark to 7.5 minutes of the second half, where we struggled to make a stop or make a shot, and they were able to get it to low doubles, and it was hard to recover from that, especially on the road. So just kind of stressed with the team for future games like that. The more we can avoid a situation where we're not getting any stops, or we can't trade baskets. I think you got to be able to do one or the other, right? You got to be able to sit down and get stops if your offense is struggling, and if you're if you can't stop your opponent, you better keep scoring with them, and we weren't able to to accomplish that, and I thought Washington played very well.
Since Phillips has come back, he's kind of really maximized his minutes in the rotation. What do you kind of see from him, and how do you feel like that?
Who was that?
Phillips, Sean Phillips.
Yeah.
He's really kind of maximized his minutes. How do you feel like he's kind of impacted the team, and what are some things you're looking forward to moving forward with him?
Yeah, it's nothing that I haven't said before about Sean. He's our youngest player. He's 19 years old. He's still learning the game. He's very, very gifted kid. He's gonna, I think, be a guy that is going to continue to get better. It's not going to be a straight, line to the top for him. There's going to be learning and growing, throughout the process. But he makes us a different team when when he could play above the rim and challenge shots and rebound and do some of the things that he brings to the floor.
And it's been a few games, but how do you feel that he's starting to get his game legs back under him as you give him more and more minutes?
Yeah, I liked how he responded. In Seattle, especially in the first half, he was really good, coming off a game where he was in foul trouble, in our Colorado game, and had 4 fouls and only a few minutes of action. So I think he learned from that and was able to keep himself out on the floor and did a good job. This is a tough year for a young center to come into the Pac-12. When you look at guys, like Carlson, front court players like Carlson and Dante and Ballo and all these guys, and Bona now on Wednesday. There's just a lot of really good players at his position, so he's going to get tested, every night.
Any update on Meeks and Long? I hate to keep asking, but
yeah, I know it's Bryson's coming along. He was doing some skill work in practice today. I think he's getting closer. I don't think he'll make the game tomorrow, and I think he would be very questionable for Saturday right now. And Zane is the same. I would just say indefinitely with Zane at this point.
Just on the aspect of the size of the Pac-12 and evaluating that versus Silvergate and Sean Hurley at the same time, how are you evaluating the options of a big man lineup versus this 4-guard lineup you got to use for the majority of the season?
Yeah, I'm gonna see what that looks like. With that lineup, it's a little bit tough for us in terms of our shooting and our floor spacing on offense, but it definitely makes us a better interior defensive team and rebounding team. So I would say that there's a chance, especially with some of the bigger teams, that we're going to be playing on our schedule, that could be, a lineup that we potentially go to.
is it too early to kind of start looking at quad 1 wins and bad losses, and is it kind of too early to start looking at those?
I think for us, it's we have to have a different mindset. We got to run our race in the Pac-12 and see how far we can take that. Like, that's all. We can't change the past and what we did in the non-conference, and some of the wins, according to the net rankings, have been favorable for us with SMU and San Francisco, but we still, we got a lot of work to do, and right now we're in pretty good position coming into this game, but we're playing a team that I think is got a lot of pride, that their coach is an excellent coach that really demands top performance. They're one of the hardest playing teams that I've seen on film, and they found something on offense versus Washington. They performed better at that end of the floor, which really took their team to a different level. But it'll be one of the best defensive teams that we'll face at UCLA, and that's a reflection of Mick Cronin and the job he does there, and those guys really play hard for him.
Now with Adam and Sean being back up a little bit over these past few games, where do you see the trajectory of this team and consistently plays back together?
I think it remains to be seen. It just depends, what our commitment is to understanding what we did when we had won 4 in a row and what that looked like, and how do we practice and prepare that way, and have the confidence to go out and perform when the lights are on. So I told them in Washington, I said, like, we got to understand, fellas, we're 4-0. Washington played really well. I mean, we got to expect that from our opponents. We have a little bit of a target. It's not this huge target. It's a small target, but it's a target. We got people's attention how we started the league. So teams are going to be ready to play against us, and we have to be prepared for that.
Understanding that target, what was the message to the group this week with these 2 LA schools, and then potentially setting up a top of the Pac-12 matchup against Oregon?
Well, again, I'm not into like moral victories, and losing kills me, but at the same time, like I said, man, we played a winning game, and we just didn't play, winning basketball for 3 minutes. So it was hard to be like overly disappointed, because I thought we gave a max effort, and it just, we came up short in the game. So it's just more like, all right, just let's refocus. It's a big week in front of us. They're exciting games against programs that have been the leaders in our conference for years.
Do you expect any more media attention when USC comes in Saturday with Bronny James and all that hoopla?
I mean, I would anticipate that, yeah, there's a little extra, juice to the game. It's on Big Fox Network, and it's it's an afternoon star, which is going to be different for our team. We're usually on at 8 or 9 o'clock at night most of the time. So be interesting to see how the guys perform at that time. But really, that's all we're thinking about right now is UCLA, and all we've done in our preparation is thinking about that team that is coming off a really good win at home versus Washington.
You had only 1 game last week, a little extra time. How much did that help you guys reset, maybe?
Well, when you have these gaps, you have to take advantage of them. So we kind of saved legs right away after that, and then we practiced. I felt really well today, and we practiced fairly good yesterday. We had a kind of a lighter workout on Saturday. So with knowing that UCLA had to play a game on Sunday, our advantage maybe is that we'll be fresher, have fresh legs. They might be a little sharper coming off a more recent game, but so you try and take advantage of that as much as you can.
What does it say about the league and its competitiveness that a team like Washington beat you guys pretty handily, and then a couple days later comes in and can't really take care of things against UCLA?
I just think it's life in a power conference, no matter where you are, all across the country. It's happening everywhere. That these programs know each other very well. It's very difficult to win on the road. I think Washington got a taste of that. So so anytime you can win, those road games, they're huge. So we have to be fully aware that that's what our opponent's thinking. They proved that they could play well and win at home, and I'm sure their coaches now say, well, now you're getting 2 of the top teams in the standings on the road. What do you got? So we got to be ready for it on tomorrow night.
Does that add a little bit extra when you play at home, 2 home games where you are going to be favored in both of them, making sure that you finish 9-0 at home?
I think it's more of, with this team, a lot of our players that are West Coast kids have grown up watching UCLA be very successful, and this is the last time UCLA will play a Pac-12 game here in Tempe. And if you're not excited to play a program like that, then you're probably in the wrong business. So I think you sense that your team understands that opportunity, and will try and take advantage of it.
Coach, you mentioned practice the last couple of days being pretty good. What have you seen in practice that made you say that? Is it execution at a high level, shots falling? What do you think?
Well, I mean, we were bad yesterday. I might not have been clear on that. We didn't have a good day yesterday, and it was coming off an off day on Sunday. It was our day off this week. So, we talked at the end of practice about how important today's day was. Today was just, very focused, concentrated, very well, communicated well in a positive way, and then the basketball, just the quality of the play, was there, and there was a sense that the guys are gearing up for tomorrow night.
And you mentioned, I want to go back a couple weeks to after Northwestern, got a lot of guys that you didn't necessarily see people cheering for their teammates or being excited for their teammates' success. Is that something you've seen like a lot more of a change of over the last couple of weeks and even yesterday and stuff?
I mean, winning helps. Winning certainly helps. So winning 4 out of 5 since that game, having the Christmas break to soul search a little bit, to come back to practice well again, to see a more connected team. That's all you could hope for, really, as a coach. You could tell that the communication was far better. That the guys appeared to play more connected, play for each other a lot more.
Coach, over the last 3 games, Jamiya Neal has averaged 13 points per game, but more notably, he's shot at 58% from the field. What have you liked from him over this stretch, and how has his approach been to become more efficient throughout the season?
He's been terrific this week. He was one of the few that practiced very well yesterday and had another good day today. I think he's feeling more comfortable, knowing he's going to play the minutes he's playing. He's in his role, playing both ends of the floor. He missed a couple of blockouts versus Washington that we talked about in that second half, and but his defense has been very solid, as it was at the end of the Stanford game and other examples. So he's doing more than just looking to score. He's doing making a lot of winning plays out there.
Neal's really had success at the end of last season, the Pac-12 tournament, kind of found his footing, and then had that slow start in the start of the season. How have you kind of seen him grow, just kind of as the games and his career's developed so far?
I mean, he's just being more reliable guy, a guy that I'm having a hard time taking off the floor. So that's usually the best compliment you could get out of me, is that I don't want to take you out. I'm not looking for a reason to take you out of the game. If anything, I need to find a way to maybe just cut his minutes enough that he really has got full energy late in the game to help close games out. So but he's doing it with his defense, with his rebounding. He's one of the best rebounding guards we have, certainly in the program, and so I'm excited about where he is and where he's beginning to take this season individually.
You mentioned this being the last time UCLA will come to Tempe. I imagine it's kind of a subplot, but after spending enough years in this conference, is that something in the back of your mind as we get to this time of the season, it will be some of the last games against some of these programs?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very appreciative of the history of the game, and I've been an East Coast guy, but I've been out here now 9 years, so I've really developed an appreciation for West Coast basketball and what that means. And again, I said it before, UCLA is one of the most storied programs in college basketball. So this being the last time, we want to go out there and empty the tank and against an opponent of that caliber. And there are standards in that program, regardless if they've had a tough stretch at the beginning of the season. You could see kind of a different team in their last game, and so that's a dangerous team that's coming here, and we have to be fully prepared. But I really am a big fan now. I've become a fan of West Coast basketball, and this is kind of a league that no longer will exist, so you try and just soak in every moment you can.
You mentioned the offense that UCLA showcased on Sunday. Obviously, the big man Vana is going to be a challenge for you guys. How do you plan to combat him after he was really, really effective shooting the ball?
Yeah, just like any top player in your league, you try and make things difficult as possible without going into specifics about how we're going to guard him, but just challenging his touches. You keep a ball out of his hands, it's going to be hard for him to score the ball, and kind of starts there. But it's a collective approach with a player like him. We can't expect to leave Gaffney or Salabange or Phillips on an island with a player like that that's really coming into his own. He's one of the top players in our league, and they're going to be very focused on. They've been very focused on throwing the ball inside, obviously, and their guards attacking the paint. So that's going to be something that's going to be very important in this game. And we've had a few that we've struggled to rebound. So when you have a team that's this big, we better have our hard hat, be ready to go after the ball tomorrow. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Coach. Thanks, Coach.
Well, there he is right there. You see it. And I mean, again, talking about UCLA and a storied program, I mean, Bobby Hurley, like you said, being from the great state of New Jersey, obviously playing at Duke, coaching at Buffalo, and then, yes, trekking all the way out across the map to the left coast, as we say on the Sports Arena, Monday nights, 10 o'clock Eastern. Shameless plug there. Anyway, but yeah, no, I mean, look, it's a thing. The matchup with UCLA, they say, yeah, you could be saying right there what I said before. You can't overlook a team that may have had a slow start. In the beginning of the season, non-conference play, even, you get into conference play, but you get that turnaround win. And when it clicks for a team, if it suddenly just clicks for a team, yes, it is one game. I see the other side of that. So for, UCLA fans saying, oh, look at that, it clicks. So if they come in here tonight, you play a close game, you see how it goes. And I mean, that's huge there. Cause I mean, and you mentioned it. I mean, you talk about, Adem Bona. I mean, he's averaging 11. He's the second leading scorer on the team. He's averaging 11.9 points per game and 6.5 rebounds. He leads the team in rebounds. Sebastian Mack, he's leading the team in scoring 13.9 points a game, but he's also chipping in, 4 rebounds. And look, this is a team field goal wise that shoots 41% from the field. 3-point wise, they shoot 28% from three. So you need to close out the 3-point line, but I'm sure in seeing that in the struggles now, yeah, you don't want them to get hot again. You're not going to leave them wide open. I understand that, but yes, you'll be encouraged if a 28% free throw or 3-point shooting team is chucking threes. Free throw wise, they're a 71% free throw shooting team. So overall, I mean, look at it. If they, you can do that on the road, obviously not bad for them. But yeah, I mean, Bona, I mean, you look at this young man, coach is obviously talking about, he's 6'10", 245, the sophomore. He moves, I mean, yeah, he moves like Coach said. Coach said it perfectly. You're not going to leave somebody on an island alone with him. Not that they can't go, but there's no need to give them that advantage, to say the least. But yeah, I mean, 6'10", 245, the way he moves, like, yeah, this, so like I said, the 7-10 record, you have an opportunity there if you play the way you can, and you do, that you can beat this team 7-10, 2-4. But like I said, Bona's going to be, coach mentioned it, but seeing UCLA earlier this year, he is a truckload to deal with. But you look at points per game. I mean, UCLA scoring 64.2 points per game. Their opponents are averaging 63.9 points per game. So, yes, I mean, they're there, but I mean, that came drastically up when Utah, again, just boated them. I mean, like, that I did not, and Utah's good. I'm not taking anything away from the Utes. I'm just saying, when I saw that score, I was like, what? And then I saw highlights of the game, and I was like, oh, okay, on the road in Utah, the Utes definitely went to town there. But yeah, it's gonna be like I said, it's gonna be a good game. And I'm just saying, you might not want to miss it. You might want to get out to DFA tonight, 7 p.m. And then, like Coach Hurley said, Saturday, and we'll talk about this obviously on, we'll recap the game tomorrow, have some sound, and then also a little bit Friday. But we'll talk about Saturday, and yes, USC coming to town. That means Bronny James coming to town. So, but I mean, I talked about, the standings, and USC right now. Oh, yeah, they're 2-4 and they're 8-9 overall. But it's just good to see Ronnie James out. I will say that. Like the medical emergency we saw, I mean, the heart, like that, again, he stepped away, obviously, to overstate the obvious for a while, and is healthy and good and doing good. So that part is always awesome to see. Definitely loving that. So, but yeah, and now we shall hear from a man that was talked about in that press conference, to Coach Hurley but Jamiya Neal. And again, he has had one heck of, again, a little bit of a slow start, but we saw how he finished last year. We know what he means to this team, and defensively and rebounding and coaches. I mean, he talked about it there. Like, obviously, go crash the boards, play defense, and Jamiya touched on that. And obviously, taking on UCLA and where he's at. So, pardon me, without further ado, here is Jamiya Neal.
A little bit closer to the microphones, Jamiya. Thank you.
Gotcha. Go ahead.
This is the game tomorrow night, just against UCLA and home. You guys have had a lot of success at home. How important is this one? How big is this one for you guys?
Very important. Last home game against UCLA in the Pac-12, it's important. They're like, the staple of the Pac-12. When you think about Pac-12, you think about UCLA. So playing them is always going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. And last year, the home game against UCLA meant a lot. And this year, I think it means the exact same. It means a lot, just like it did last year.
How excited are you to get a chance to get back in the winning column after last week's loss?
It's always exciting to go out there with your brothers and just compete and have a chance to win. So I'm very excited.
Seems like you've been in a good rhythm the last couple of games offensively. You shoot the ball well. Are you doing anything differently? Why are you in such a good rhythm?
I think it's just our team playing better and everybody understanding their role a little better. Obviously, I've been shooting a lot for practice and stuff like that, but I think it's more with the rhythm of the team that's been helping everybody out.
Obviously, he doesn't really want to take you off the floor when you're out there and you're playing. He said it was the best compliment he could give to any of his players. So what are your kind of initial reactions from hearing really kind of talk to you about you like that?
Obviously, I've been here for 3 years, and me and Coach have a different type of relationship than he has with these other guys since their transfers and stuff. So the trust factor, he's always believed in me since I stepped on campus. So that means a lot to me that he respects me, respects my game, my work enough to keep me out there.
Coach, has been impressed with your defense and trying to form this team's defensive identity. How are you working with the rest of the group to try and find that fit and that rhythm?
Defense has always been our calling card the whole time I've been here. The 3 years I've been here, we've always been a very good defensive team, and I think it's no different this year. We have a lot of athletic guys and a lot of length and that type of stuff, and speed and athleticism, so that can help us on the defensive end. It's just, understanding the scout, understanding our opponents to help us, and just playing smarter and not harder.
And then with Sean, I know obviously he's only been a few games back, but how do you feel he's getting his legs under him and just kind of blending in with the team on the court?
Sean coming back, that was big for us. He's kind of our only 7-footer we have, and he's so athletic. He can do so many things. He can score in the post. He can block shots. He slides his feet well. He does a lot of things. He's an energy guy also. So just having Sean back has been good for us. I don't think him coming back has affected anything. I think it's making us better. So just having him get his legs better and having him play more and be out on the floor more can help us.
The past 3 games, you've averaged 13 points per game on 58% from the field. What has your approach been throughout the season to progress the way you have?
Just let the game come to me. I think that's just the best thing for me. Don't force anything. I think earlier in the season, I forced a few shots that I shouldn't have, and I had a couple bad misses. And when I look back at those, I'm not proud of that. So, and I don't think that helps us win. So me just letting the game come to me and going with the flow of the game. I don't have to score to affect the game. I don't think anybody on our team has to. We can get deflections, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, all that stuff helps us win too.
Is that a maturity thing? It just comes with experience and age?
I think so. It might be. I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't have said that my freshman year, but just looking back at the film and talking to my coaches and that type of stuff really helps. And obviously, I don't want to go out there and look bad anyway. So anything that can help us win and help me look good, I'm fine with it.
With that maturity or just that mentality of not always having to get a score, just making that not as a team, where do you think that mental growth happened within the season?
As a leader on this team, I have to stay level-headed. I can't get too high and get too low. So obviously I haven't been here the longest, so in times of discomfort and that type of stuff, they look at me. And if I'm reacting bad or I have a bad attitude or putting my head down when I miss a shot, that affects everybody. That affects the whole team. So I just try, no matter if I'm playing good or playing bad, I try to be the same guy every day, and I think that helps our team, because if they see me doing it, then they'll do it.
Do you think it was good for the team to not have a second game this weekend and kind of reset from the loss, make sure that it doesn't become a streak and take care of business this week?
Yeah, it's always good, to play one game and then have that time to rest and get massages and get time off and that type of stuff, to have your legs fresh for the next week. So it definitely helps us.
You talked about staying level-headed as being one of the leaders on the team. Where does that come from? Is that something that you had kind of thought of on your own, or did you pick that up from maybe one of your other leaders from other teams?
Yeah, I picked that up from other leaders on the team, and just talking to people and talking to coach and what he wants from me, and I know what he wants from me, and that's what I have to do. There's certain things that everybody on this team has to do for us to be successful, and that's just happens to be one of my roles.
Jamiya, when you talk about UCLA being the program that you think of when you think Pac-12, do you remember that being the case for you, like growing up in Ohio, like something you recognized then?
Always, always. Duke, UCLA, Kentucky, those are all schools that everybody knows. You don't even have to know basketball to know those schools. So UCLA is always going to be one of those schools.
Anything else?
Well, you heard Jamiya Neal say it right there. UCLA is always going to be one of those schools. And I mean, like I said, like Coach Hurley was saying the same thing. I mean, you can go back to, and yes, you can look up John Wooden, kids. Google John Wooden, and people say, oh, well, they didn't do this. Everybody wants to make excuses. You dominate who's in front of you, and that's what UCLA did. I mean, to having two of the greatest centers pretty much back-to-back at UCLA, Lou Alcindor, who became Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, for the many of you that know that, yes. And then Bill Walton. I mean, hell, they changed the rules in college. I mean, when people talk about greatest, and look, it's names get put there, but Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Lou Alcindor, you couldn't dunk. They changed the rules because, yes, he was taller than a lot, but you weren't allowed to dunk, and they changed the rules because of him. Like, that's just a one person you're changing the rules for. So, but yeah, I mean, the storied history of UCLA, and yes, it is a tough coaching job, no matter what to take. I mean, to take and to have success. I mean, it's, but Mick Cronin again has done a good job. Like I said, 7-10, no, not UCLA standards. But yeah, Jamiya Neal talked about, real quick, I talked about, free throw percentage. This is a team that's, as a team, is shooting 63.5% from the free throw line. And again, that's just not acceptable. Like at any, you look at this, it's at home. I mean, that's got to come up. And yes, that's obviously a combination of that's just not like, oh, they're shooting this at home, this on the road. No, they're shooting 63.5% from the free throw line, while their opponents are shooting just over 68%. But at home, like I said, you got to be up at 80%. So as long as it keeps going up, then I mean that is again very, very good. But when you look at field goal percentage, they're shooting 41% from the field. Their opponent's shooting 42. They're shooting 30% from the 3-point line. Their opponent's shooting 31%, almost 32. So, yeah, you want to clean it up, but you want to get to the hoop. And the free throws, again, that's something that, and of course, coach will tell you and the players will tell you, that's something that just needs to be cleaned up. So I don't, and again, it's one of those things, especially when you're at home, but you want to be near 80%. So, but Jamiya Neal there, like you said, I mean, he goes Kentucky, Duke, UCLA, and I love that. He's like, you don't even have no basketball to know them. Like, but again, what John Wooden did, I mean, coaches that have obviously come after, it's never easy. It is that standard, and I mean, they have delivered throughout the years. So it's gonna be an awesome game tonight, 7 p.m. Desert Financial Arena. Get on out there. Yes, hit me up on X at Diablo00 if you're gonna be out there. Again, maybe we can chat, but a little convo. But I will be out there, and I'll be out there Saturday too as well at noon when they take on USC. So hey, man, Pitchfork Lunch. Another show in the books. Again, I'm so stoked you all hung out and watched. And again, if you're just jumping in and you're like, oh, it's over. Yes, it's over. But again, all you got to do is go to my YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can binge watch the shows. They are all there, which is awesome. But it's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat, 005 at MVC005 on YouTube. Subscribe. You have missed a ton of phenomenal interviews, coaches, players, getting to know them, seeing it, being around the programs, different things, all that stuff. Insiders, Tim Healy, got to work on getting him back on. Jeff Munn as well. We're gonna get him onto coaches. And like I said, men's tennis, by the way. Don't want to forget that here because we go all around Sun Devil Nation, but they have a match tomorrow coming up, and they are taking on Baylor, and it is at home. Yes, so it is at home. They are taking on number 25 Baylor. Yes, early season, but the Devils 2-0. Again, they had the wins over NAU and Wichita State. Yeah, both 4-0. And then Baylor, well, I would love to it is tomorrow. I would love to give you a time, and for some reason, 4 p.m. 4 o'clock tomorrow. Okay, there you go. So 4 p.m. tomorrow, they take on the Baylor Bears, who are number 25. So if you can get out there again tomorrow, no men's hoops because they play tonight. And the women, they are actually the women's hoops team is on the road. They are headed back up to the Pacific Northwest to take on the Washington schools. So again, just wanted to throw that out there. But yes, I'm going to get out of here. Everybody have a great rest of your Wednesday. Again, if you can, get on out to DFA tonight, 7 p.m., UCLA, ASU. Absolutely awesome. So I will check you out tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel as always. And let's go Devils. Let's get a victory tonight, and we can celebrate it here tomorrow. You can celebrate with me on Pitchfork Lunch. So I will see you tomorrow. And yes, you know it, Pitchfork Lunch or Sun Devil Nation. As always, forks up.
They score. They tie the game up 2-2. Some drives out for Robbie Ryan. Her three right on the money. This is Taya Hansen for three. Other side of the rim with a pretty reverse. Wow. 5 seconds.